fall leaves could, of course, wreak havoc on your gutters. A live look at Chatham this morning, where the wind has been the biggest concern right now. So as we talk about the wind and the leaves and the rain and the gutters, can you do something now before the brunt of the storm hits us later today? I want to talk more about that. We're joined this morning by Stephen Booya. He is from Gutter Pro. Stephen, we appreciate you coming in this morning. Let me ask you this question first. If you haven't got to your gutters now, is it too late?
It's unfortunate looking outside right now. The winds are certainly picking up.
We don't recommend people getting up on the ladder.
I would advise against it. The last place you should be is up on a ladder, or even worse, on a roof. So the window is just about closed.
Right. You missed your opportunity. Well, let me ask you this. If you failed to clean them out, what's the worst possible outcome here? If we get a lot of rain and water doesn't have a place to go?
Yeah, unfortunately, if your gutters are clogged, the water's going to go somewhere. It's going to overflow. It's going to leak over. It's going to leak behind. It could damage your siding. It could damage your trim. Water could pool around your foundation, cause water seepage. But, I mean, all hope is not lost. I mean, this storm will end.
Right.
You know, cleaning your gutters is a good measure of preventative maintenance.
Right.
You can't get to it now, do it later.
There were a lot of folks driving around. If you walked around the weekend and looked around, you saw a lot of folks up on the ladders trying to get that taken care of. So hopefully that was something that a lot of folks were able to get to. But what happens if, in the case, either because of the weight of the leaves or maybe, unfortunately, a branch, if your gutters happen to come down for some reason?
Right.
How do you deal with that? Because obviously you wouldn't be able to get to that until the storm's done.
I mean, if the gutter completely falls off the house, as long as it doesn't hurt anybody in the process, it may not be the worst thing in the world. I mean, hopefully the water running off your roof doesn't wind up in your basement. More often than not, due to the heavy winds, I see gutters partially off, hanging there. That creates a more precarious situation.
How big of a repair job are you talking about if your gutters do come down during the storm and you need to get that looked at?
You know, depending on how much water damage was incurred in the process, it could very well be a potentially costly repair. But you know, the hope with preventative maintenance that hopefully many of us have employed, we help mitigate some of these water damages.
What about the downspouts? Important also to keep those free, clear, and also you can get a little extender or something to run the water away from
Absolutely,
problem areas,
fantastic idea. Your downspouts function is to get the water from the gutters away from your house, all right? Ideally, a couple feet is great just to be safe. If you have a history of water seeping into your basement, extend them out even further. Extend them, right? You can even use plastic hose,
or dig your own little tunnel there. The other thing you have to look at too, because I've seen this happen before, is that people don't often look at their downspouts because a lot of times they may have actually gone into the ground a little bit, and so you have no way for the water to escape.
Yeah, I mean, downspouts aren't something you really notice until something goes terribly wrong, and unfortunately by then it's probably too late. So get the water away from your house, away from the foundation.
And is this a good time also when you get a storm like this to assess just how well your gutters are working anyway? What should you be looking at to make sure, even if the leaves aren't blocked up, that they're still working the way they should be?
Absolutely. At least a couple times a year, you should probably have a gutter professional take a look at things. You know, gutters sag, gutters separate from the wood. You know, downspout placement often doesn't make sense.
Right.
It's not a bad idea to have someone look at things, can diagnose problems in advance before you're forced to incur expensive repairs.
Well, the worst thing you want to deal with is water damage, and that's, so you want to make sure that you get...
It's very destructive, very pervasive. We got to do what we can to...
Right, and very expensive to fix, too, that's for sure. Steve Booya, thank you very much for coming in from Gutter Pro. Appreciate your expertise and your insight in all of this for us.